exciting interviews ever, because I've never, in the hundreds of interviews that I've done over the years with James, our photographer and our cameraman, I've never had two world champions sitting side by side here with me that are currently world champions and that are facing each other on the 1st of March at Empress Palace on Palace Pandemonium, brought to you by Golden Gloves, of course. So this is a big fight. I'm going to introduce these two guys now. On my left-hand side, welcome Jackson Chauke.
Thank you for it.
Nice to see you, my friend. 28 fights, only 2 losses. Brilliant, brilliant record. He's the current IBO champion of the world, flyweight champion of the world. On my right-hand side, Ricardo Malajika, 16 fights, also only 2 losses. I mean, these guys can fight. They've got an 80% winning record. Current IBO junior bantamweight champion of the world is Ricardo Malajika. This, ladies and gents, is going to be a massive fight. It's a massive local fight. It's going to be one of the best local fights ever, I think. It's going to be up there with the Hawk Makapulas and Baby Jack McClalas and the Cassius Beloys and the Filipinos. This can only be a good fight. You've got 2 current world champions. It's going to be brilliant. Jackson, talk to me about your amateur career. When I Googled your amateur career, I got even more respect for you. Silver medalist at the 2006 Commonwealth Games and All Africa Games in 2007. I mean, how many fights did you have as an amateur?
Well, I started boxing, I think, 1993. I had my first fight in 1996. In total, I think I've got like 300 and something amateur fights. 300
amateur, that's amazing. Your amateur career is absolutely amazing. And Ricardo, of course, let me welcome you officially as our current IBO junior bantamweight champion. So these 2 guys, current IBO flyweight champion, current IBO junior bantamweight champion, these guys can put it on. They're brilliant fighters. Ricardo, let me ask you, I kind of know a bit about your background, of course. 6 times South African amateur champion, more than 100 amateur fights. What stands out for you in your amateur life? Because, I mean, you 2 guys have achieved everything as an amateur and a pro.
For me, now that I hear Jackson Chauke said 2016, he got a silver medalist.
That's a Commonwealth.
I was in the zone 5s. That was like my biggest time of my boxing career in the amateurs. 2016 when I went to represent South Africa and Angola.
Okay.
So I'm like,
great.
He's been boxing before I was even born.
Yeah, he's been boxing long before you were born. And you started boxing at the age of what, 9 years old?
7.
7 years old. And yourself, Jackson?
I think I was 9 or 10. So.
9 or 10. Okay, so as I said, ladies and gents, these guys go back, way back. They've got a great amateur pedigree and they're brilliant professional fighters as well. Let's talk about nicknames before we get into your big fight that you guys are going to compete in on the 1st of March. You nicknamed M3. Jackson M3 Chauke. Tell us where the nickname came from.
The nickname came from the late, great Nick Durant.
Nick Durant.
Yes.
And of course his son Damien Durant is your current trainer now.
Yes.
So that's history there on its own. So Nick Durant gave you the nickname M3. For what reason? Because the M3 car is so fast, or what?
I think it's because of the speed.
Because of the speed of the car. Okay, fantastic. And you, Ricardo Malajika, the magic man?
We definitely, Uncle Brian from Ensom Gimo, we sat down, it's like, what would you name you? Like, what would you like your name to be? And I'd be like, anything to do with magic, I feel great and magical.
So you feel when you fight, you put on a magic?
Put a magic show, and he was like, then let's go for the magic, man. And I was like, say no more.
Okay, great. So one of your first trainers, Anton Gilmore, did a great job with you as well. So he said, magic man, let's do it. And of course, you're trained now by the brilliant Manny Fernandes. So you got Manny Fernandes up against Damien Durant as the trainers, and you got M3 against Magic Man. It's going to be brilliant. Ricardo, let me ask you the first question, other than your amateur career. Why, being the IBO Junior Bantamweight Champion, why would you want to fight in a lighter division? Go down in weight. It's an extra 1.5 kilos, 2 kilos down.
Uncle Brian, seeing the sport, it's about sacrifices, to be what you want to be in life. So I had a feeling that, let me go down, let me become a world champion, because that's my dream, to become a world champion in the flyweight division. So if I saw an opportunity like this, I wouldn't let it slide, So I decided, let's go down and let's do what my goal has always been.
And a lot of great fighters obviously do fight through different divisions. I mean, Manny Pacquiao won world titles in 8 different divisions. So, okay, so that's your reason you want to win another world title. That's fair enough. Let's talk about the nerves, which is an interesting thing that people always ask me off air. When do you get most nervous? I'm going to ask Jackson a similar question. Are you most nervous in the dressing room, like when your hands are being done, or is it on the way to the ring? Where does the nerves kick in for Ricardo, the Magic Man?
To be honest with you, Uncle Brian, the most nerve for me is when my brother's fighting.
Oh, but you get more nervous than when you fight.
That's when the nerves kicks in. I prefer me going in than my younger brother, because you never know what the outcome would be. But with me, definitely, you know, the nerves will kick in immediately when I'm walking down, you know, because I'm like, you know, this is your time to shine. Yeah. This is your time. Everyone is looking at you. Everyone's depending on you. So that's when the nerves hits in. But as soon as I get into the ring and I throw my first punch, I'm into action. I'm into going Magic Man.
Jackson, for a man that's so seasoned and experienced, 17 years professional boxer from, was it 2008, does it get easier or does it get harder, the nerves, as you get more experience?
For me, I prefer nerves. You know, without nerves, then you must know that something is wrong there. You know, nerves, they keep you cautious, you know. They keep you alert. If there's no nerves, then something is wrong. So the older I get, I find to realize that the nerves are getting worse.
They're getting worse. But I suppose it's two-sided, because your nerves are getting worse, but you've got the experience.
Yeah.
So you've been in there before. You've done that business for 17 years.
But I think mostly in time you learn how to control them, you know. But they need to be there. If they're not there, you need to be worried.
Your nerves makes you a bit sharp as well.
Yeah,
so
you need to be worried.
You need to be so you need to be a bit sharp as well. Toughest fight for you, Jackson, Chauke, in your career?
I think my toughest fight was my first loss against Sechata, the late Sechata.
Late Sechata, okay. Ricardo, Malajika, you've also, for a man that's only had 16 fights, been thrown in the lion's den a few times. Who would you say is the toughest fight? I mean, Kevin Munoz looked like quite a tough fight, but then so did younger Sikwebu. Who would you say?
To be honest with you, Uncle Brian, all the fights I've fought, they all were tough, and all the fights, they all had their own tough points.
Yes.
So for me now, I'm still learning.
Okay.
I can't say this one was tough, this one was tough. Growing up into the professional, I know everyone has their strong points, and that's what makes it tough for them. Because they're strong in certain...
Because every fight is so different,
yeah. So for me now, I take every fight tough, and they're all the same for me.
And then you work it out as you go.
Yeah, as we in the ring, as the rounds go, you try sharpen up.
Yeah. You fought Carfoot twice, who's now a WBO World Champion. Was that tough for you?
It was tough. Like, I think the second fight was tough. Not tough like the first loss I had with Sechata. Well, they both have strong points, but my toughest opponent was Luangile Sechata.
Okay.
Kafu was tough in his own way.
Yes, well, like Ricardo says, I mean, every fight is different.
Those two boxers are two different styles. So the first fight with Kafu, I was pushing the fight. And then the second fight, I decided to box. But the tough thing about Kafu was his power.
Okay. And I thought you were a bit unlucky in the fight where you got a draw. I thought you actually shaded the fight, but well done on those two fights. Well done on beating Kademi in your last fight a year ago for the IBO Flyweight Title. Do you not think your inactivity could go against you in this big fight now, being out for a year?
Look, this situation, like me fighting a younger guy, like me not fighting for a long time, it's not the first time I've been in this situation. I don't believe in ring rust, you know. It's like knowing how to ride a bike. You can take 4 or 5 years to
Once you can ride a
bike,
bicycle.
but you can ride a bicycle, you know. So I'm not worried about that, you know. Preparations, I've been given time, you know. I've signed contract, I think, on the 9th of December. So since then,
more than enough time.
Yeah, more than enough time. So I can't complain about, you know, not having enough time. So I'm prepared, you know, I'm ready. You know, I'll put my skills to the test, you know. definitely on the 1st of March, I will defend my title.
I'm going to talk to you a bit more about that now. Ricardo, well done on beating Young Squebo in your last fight. So Young had never been stopped before, so that was a magnificent victory for you in all his fights. So he'd never been stopped before. Congratulations on that. This is your biggest test ever, obviously. Every time you go in the ring, it's a big test for both of you, for any fighter. But this, as an undefeated IBO Junior Bantamweight champion now, this man on my left-hand side is definitely going to be your toughest fight, Jackson Chauke, and the biggest fight that you're fighting. Do you believe that your youth, your being 26 years old as opposed to 39, and not disrespectful to Jackson, because the Manny Pacquiaos and the Mayweathers have won world titles at 40, do you believe that's an advantage for you with speed, footwork, being 26?
I definitely believe in training and all that. So I always believe in hard work beats talent. So I believe the way I'm working, the way I work to my camp and everything, that gives me confidence that I can beat him. That's 100%. I'm not worried about age. I'm not worried. I don't judge on that. I judge on the way you work in the gym, the way you discipline, the way what you sacrifice, what you do to get to that level. So that's what I believe in, and I believe in the hard work that I'm putting in.
And I think one of the compliments that we must give Jackson that you mentioned to me, you used to look up to Jackson when you were a young man. You watched his fights and he was one of your heroes. And I suppose in life sometimes you've got to either beat your hero or face your hero. And that's what's happening in this case. So you were one of his childhood heroes, but obviously now he wants to beat you. Jackson, back to you. Do you believe that with all your experience, it's going to carry you through to defend your IBO title for the first time, your IBO Flyweight title against this man, Malajika?
Definitely. You know, I've been in this game for long. There's different styles that I faced, you know. There's different opponents that I faced. Different. They all came with different attitudes, you know. Like you compared the fight with Kafu. You asked me if it was a tough fight. You know, you get different characters in boxing, you know. You get Ricardo, he's got his own energy that he's bringing to this fight. You get Kafu, he's got charisma, you know. You get different kind of fights that I've been in, you know. With my experience, you know, I'm not really worried, you know. The only time I am worried, it's if I'm not training as hard as I'm supposed to. Then I'll be worried. But so far, the time frame that I've been given, you know, the conditioning that I've been doing, the hard training that I've been doing, I'm confident that 1st of March, like I said, I will defend my title. You know, like all the time, I always tell people that I mean what I say. You know, I do as I speak. You know, I'm a father. You know, I need to lead by example. You know, if my children watch my interviews, you know, they need to know that if I wake up in the morning, 3:30, 4 o'clock, you know, I go and put in work, then they need to see those results, you know. So I'm not worried. Come 1st of March, I will defend my title.
So you're predicting Jackson Chauke to have his first defense of that IBO Flyweight title?
He's definitely going to have his first defense. You know, when I fight, you know, I fight like the rain is coming.
Okay. Ricardo, obviously you've heard what the champion said. You're the challenger this time. You're facing a good champion, and you got to get up for it. How do you see the fight going against the experienced champion?
No, but like I said, I'm expecting a very tough fight because it's been in the game for long. Before I was even born, I'm not taking that away from you. And like Uncle Brian said, you know, every fight is a test, and this is like a bigger test for me, you know. This is not someone that I can say I just saw, someone I looked up to, someone hey, Jackson Chauke is fighting, I'll go sit the M3 is fighting, watch his fight, go to the gym, we'll talk about it. So this is a big fight for me.
Yes,
this is might look small to the crowd and everyone, but for me, spiritually, mentally, it's a very big fight.
And of course, Jackson said he's fighting for his kids. You've also got kids to fight for. So you both got a lot on the line. You want to defend that IBO Flyweight title. You want to win a second world title. So it's a massive fight. And it's obviously on the 1st of March, Palace Pandemonium at Empress Palace, brought to you by Golden Gloves, IME and Supersport Bet. Tyler Prumnik will kick off the bouts. And then you got Brian Taser fights Tuvia Vaveji in the Rising Titans 4-man light heavyweight competition, and Bonginkosi Sloper against Michael Head. Those guys are fighting it out in the Rising Titans competition. Then Brandon Taser, of course, in the undercard, 12 rounds for the WBC Africa Super Welterweight title. He fights against Charles Shanima from Namibia. And then these two men, you can't get a better fight, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't have a ticket now, get a ticket. Ricardo Malajika, IBO Junior Bantamweight World Champion, will be challenging for the IBO Flyweight title against Jackson Chauke on my right hand side. Brilliant show. Look forward to it. Thank you, IBO Junior Bantamweight Champion. Thank you, IBO Flyweight Champion. Great interview. Good luck for your fights, and we look forward to seeing you at the pre-fight medical. From me, Brian Mitchell, thank you for watching.